Blessings, quantum leaders. I am so excited to have this beautiful conversation with Angie Taurus. Angie is, oh my gosh, she's such a light being. And I will say she is freaking plugged in, this girl. Like she is so plugged in. And we are just going to see where this conversation goes organically. So, first, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll go and bring in your code.
Oh, I'm so honored to be here. Thank you. My name is Angie, and I have the honor and pleasure of working with Jules and our beautiful BioQuantum team. And I'm just so happy to be here to have this conversation. And like Jules said, see where it goes. And I do have crystals on the mind today, so we'll see where that takes us.
I have to just I have to bring this up because so Angie she's been working with me through, we've been started with trades, right? So she would take a class and she'd do some images, and it was over the summer where I reached out to her asking if she would want to come and actually, quote unquote, get on the team. Oh, I don't know why that does that. And she took the leap with us, and she quit her job and came to work for us full time. And it has been the most amazing journey. And I just really wanted to say that because that is how we live bioquantum, is that when we have a yes to something, no matter how scary it is, we go for it.
It was a transition for sure, but I could not have done it without having had the journey of, ascending the human condition, really, because, that's when I began to see my own magic
Mm.
in a way, and so, it was the best decision I've ever made, and we are definitely proving that you can hold a corporate structure and create and implement systems from the field and flow and follow the intelligence every step of the way. And it's the most exciting endeavor I think I've ever been a part of. So I am so thankful for that.
I love that. So with that, your DMT code, I always want to, okay, Cupid arrow. So it's the three. So this is the architect. This is the frequency of bringing creation into a blueprint. And I'm going to let you take this code, and what does that, like, how does it resonate? Where does it take you?
It takes me into creating in 963. It takes me to the essence of what it means to be a powerful creator being, and not power in terms of, dominance or hierarchy or anything like that, but the power within. And that when I listen to it and honor it, it just amplifies. It just grows, and it produces amazing things. And so production is coming through, and what you are able to produce when you are holding the frequency of 963 is mind-blowing. I have literally produced probably 2 years worth of work in maybe 5 or 6 months, and I see it from time to time, and it never stops blowing my mind. It never gets old. So I would say we are powerful creator beings.
What we can do in the field is mind-blowing. And it's so fun to witness and be a part of that, because what you're doing is you're living the intelligence, and how you do that is just so much fun to watch, because you have we call her the octopus because she literally has all her hands in like 8 to 10 pots, and but she can just go, okay, well, which one am I going to use? And then it's just pink, pink. You're literally doing that, and it's amazing. It is amazing. And I know one of the places you have your hands kind of dipping in and that it feels really good to your heart is crystals. So I want to go to what's been coming through for you around that. And just me saying that, I can just feel your body going, whoop.
Yeah, it lights me up because they're talking. They're wanting to participate with us. I can tell you that for sure. I will tell you I don't know everything. It's coming through sort of that drip feed kind of breadcrumb kind of way. But I can tell you that there is consciousness to be tapped into. There's it's an avenue of information. It's just another way that we can hear what wants to come through. And there's this sense of crystals wanting to just be a part of our journey in the sense of helping us release some of the static that wants to stay in the way. And it seems to be specific around way showers, around the people that are in an awakening process. And it has to do, they're wanting to assist and support. They're wanting to show us what we have accomplished. It's like we're almost having a hard time seeing our own magic and our own progress, if you want to use that word. But we've there's a sense that we've done a lot of the work, and there's some residual. There's some sort of echoes
Mhm.
still in the mind and in the body around just some of the wounds and the traumas, but that it's clear, like we're whole, and there's just a little bit of residual that they're really wanting to assist in releasing, if that makes any sense. And it really, they're telling me really specifically around self-judgment,
Mhm.
comparison to others, as it relates to, I think, a lot of the ascension work that we're doing, and what level are we all on, or what level are we on at any time? Because that's what we're doing. We're training our awareness, right? We're trying to, am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? And the biggest, I think, message that they want to tell is that this journey is not linear.
Yeah.
It's a spiral.
Mhm.
And things, are going to come back around and show us something different based on, what our level of consciousness is. And so there's a lot of little residual echoes around shame and guilt and even grief, but really around like self-confidence,
Mhm.
and wanting us to sort of ascend
Yeah.
that part of the way we see ourselves, I would say.
You know what I heard when you said self-confidence? It was knowing yourself.
Mhm.
So it's knowing the self outside of all of this. And I love the spiral. And but I also want to bring in right here is that where you're speaking from is as you were showing the spiral, and you were using the words of shame and guilt and self-worth, it's just a reflection of consciousness. It's not the story that's behind it. So I feel like where you're speaking from is the awareness that it's there and transcending it. It's the awareness that it's there and transcending it. And that's what the crystals have been showing you is that it holds a tool of just moving into what's next. So I want to go into a little bit about what that process has been for you, because this is not, oh, now I'm going to go look at my traumas, or, oh, now I'm going to go into this. This is something different. And I want to really make that clear. So let's go to that.
There's no story, there's no why, there's no how, there's nothing like that. It's like the work is done. We've done a great job. I mean, everyone, Look, Jules, you always say, my goal is to reach 100% human potential. You can be on an ascension journey and not have that goal. If you do 9.5% in your lifetime, that is magnificent. Okay. It's magnificent. But the more you do it, the more you will want to do it.
Mhm.
I have this thing where I don't look for evidence anymore, but the evidence that wants to find me finds me. And when it does, it shows me what I cannot sometimes see in myself. And so I don't know this what's coming through right now is reflection. It's that's been such a huge part of this journey for me because it's such a collaborative effort. It's like the information doesn't just flow through me.
Mhm.
When I share and reflect with others is when the magic really happens. It's like we're all pieces and parcels are coming through us all on this. But back to what you were saying, it's not about the why. It's showing us that basically crystal healing is wanting to be ascended.
Yes.
That's
Major
that's the
chills.
nuts and the bolts of it. And it's just a tool like all the other tools.
Mhm.
And the brilliance about that is you just pick the tools that resonate with you because that's where the work's going to happen. But it's all practice. I was telling someone this week, or maybe it was last week, that if we're an instrument, we are the instrument or the musician. The musician practices 10 hours a day, but might perform 1 hour a night or 1 hour a week. It's all about the practice. And and that's where it lies.
I love this. Okay, so there's a couple of things that are coming through. So ascending crystal intelligence, crystal healing, the way that we are, what I was seeing? Like it was almost like how we do that with the land too. Oh, I'm going to go to this vortex and I'm going to go to this sacred site. And we're pulling on an energy as if it's outside of us. And we're creating this loop of, oh, I need to have something outside of me to be activated or to be powerful or all of those things. And this is going into that same place of that frequency that you're reading around the shame and that sort of thing. It's almost like, oh my gosh, this is what is coming through. It's because underneath all of that, we know that that's not true, but we keep looping and agreeing with it. But underneath, there's something that's saying, stop dishonoring your own power. That's the shame, is that you're not owning your power. It's not that you ever did anything wrong. You just didn't see it. And now that's what I'm feeling in this reflection of our conversation. It's time to see it and be it.
Yeah, and there is no separation. I mean, you are the same consciousness, but you can attune, you can code your crystals,
Mm.
you can co-create the frequency from which you want to work with, and you can attune to that and you can practice it. You can use crystals as a tool and exercise to attune and discern subtle energies. And I'll tell you, we went to a retreat with you, Jules, where you gave us a necklace that we ended up coding. And when I came home and I took my necklace off after wearing it for a week, I was like, what is happening here? And I would put it back on. And that was really one of the where I was really consciously aware that something was assisting me in attuning to a different frequency.
Mhm.
And it started to unlock potential.
Mm.
Okay. And so that's fascinating to me because the more we can tap into subtle, and the more we can discern what's subtle shifts in energy. And when we're shifting in and out, it's gold. It's so informative. And the more you do it, the stronger it gets, like an instrument. You get stronger at it. And you almost feel like you're plugged in and you're tapped in, but then the plug gets bigger and bigger, the
Mhm.
channel. just gets bigger and bigger and stronger, and then more things come in. So that's kind of like what's been happening with me. And the crystals and the crystal bracelets. I started making the crystal bracelets, and as a tool, as an attunement tool, basically.
Yes.
So,
So where do we want to go with this? There was something that, let me see if I can tap back into it. Okay. The subtle energies and being able to start to read them. What I was seeing when you were saying that is that that becomes where our focus is, right? Is reading the subtle energies as information. And then that collaboration, that co-creation of actually receiving the information that's being shown. So I want to go there.
mhm. So in terms of receiving what the
Yeah,
information.
just what your experience is. And I feel like this is important where I want you to talk about your experience in this is because that one piece that we just left of focusing on the shame and this and this, and then what we realize is like, oh, the shame is that I'm not actually owning my own power. And it's creating this loop within myself that I'm shaming the part of me that knows I should be owning this. So that has just happened. And then all of a sudden, we're not focusing on all that. We're focusing on, well, oh, holy crap. Now I'm in this place where I become this open channel, and that becomes my focus. And so it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, I'm in this whole new reality. What is that experience like? Because that's where we're all going.
Yeah, I've had just really different experiences in the way that I receive information because of this sort of opening up, I guess you could say, to the crystal intelligence. And I'm not super well versed in, in it all, but I can tell you that I'm listening. And the more I listen and the more I take, I do some, I create some sort of action around the cues that I'm getting. And I'll give you an example. So, um, the information comes in strange ways. And I have to tell you, it never comes in a whole picture. You get pieces and parcels, and you have to know what I'm getting kind of good at recently is knowing when to back off
Mm,
and knowing when to discern when I'm like I can be in the field and I can be in the frequency and it's like great, the information's coming in, but then all of a sudden I get excited or something. There's some sort of I start to observe the experience, I guess, and
mhm,
and then I start going, well, what does this mean? And what does this mean? And let me Google this and let me Google that. And sometimes pieces of the puzzle come through the Googling, I'm not going to lie. But I'm starting, because of that, I'm starting to tell when I shift into the intellect, and the intellect is wanting to play and
mm,
it's wanting to inform it. And I used to be kind of slow on the uptake on that because I would run with it because it was so fun.
mhm,
But now I'm starting to get a little bit more I'm dialing it in. I'm getting a little bit more precise with it so that I want the fun. The fun is fun, but I don't want to explore it from the intellect.
mhm.
So I'm getting sharper at going, okay, the intellect's wanting to play here. I'm gonna back off. And it's you never want to because you're in the flow of it, but you back off, right? And then it comes through. And then I get hits to share it with a specific person.
Mhm,
And a lot of times you're like, oh, I'm making this up, but if the hit is it's following those hits. If you get the idea that you want, and then I share it with somebody else, and then they're like, oh, I just had this dream and it had this, and then they give me a piece of the puzzle. And
mhm,
right. And so it's really listening. And sometimes it's around this crystal was go get a piece of paper and a pen right now. And it's like, okay.
mhm,
And it's getting up in the middle of something else and making a commitment to go do the action and doing the action and then having all this stuff come through. And I'll tell you, just some fun little tidbits that came through had to do with crystals that have, I guess you could call them an inclusion or a prism on the inclusion that sort of creates that rainbow prism effect inside. But they were telling me that that was a point of if your consciousness can tune into that, it will activate it will activate a channel of
Mhm.
information, I guess you could say. That was kind of like a big nugget of information that came through because I'm not used to that. And so, am I making this up? But I just kept documenting and I kept sharing when I was called to share. And so, it is in itself a little bit of a journey, but information opens up, and it got very specific. It got very specific to me about a common attribute in way showers and linking to low self confidence, and that that we are so brilliant and so powerful that we are such creators that it's time to let that go. And for the most part, we are. It's like we're so close, but there's some residual there. And it's almost like they're almost telling me, like, you don't even have to clear the residual.
Yeah, I'm getting
Just
that too.
just pick a tool and practice, and we're gonna come in and we're gonna assist, if that makes any sense.
I love that. Okay, so I feel like that's really important. And what I was seeing is I saw this big group of people, and the message is you have no karma. Live as if there's no karma. And I don't know why that word is coming through, but there is nothing to clear. What would your life be like if you knew that was true? Then when you have that residual stuff, you're like, oh, but I have nothing to clear. So what do I need to focus on? I need to focus on the intelligence that's coming through the crystals and the tuning. And that's all we have to do. It's one, two, three, right? What's, I want to hear about like how you're attuning personally with the crystals.
Wow, that's such a good question. I think there's like a lot of different ways. Um, I It's really interesting because I call them my crystal crew, and it was 12 crystals. And just this week, it was Monday morning.
Mhm.
I sat down at the desk and they said, remove these four crystals,
Mm.
no longer part of your crystal crew. This is just sort of an example, a recent example. And I was like, oh, that's my crew. They've been with me forever. And I said, okay, something's bigger
Mm.
than I understand at this moment. There's something happening here, and I'm not going to obstruct that. So I said, okay, well, which ones? And they said, well, just feel that and you'll know. And so I went and I was like, you, and I put that one out, and you and the four, and I just sat there looking at them. And it felt so, all I can tell you is that the minute I removed them from their little circle here, I knew they didn't belong there anymore. Now, I'll tell you this, I didn't know why and I didn't know how. And to this moment, I have not concerned myself with that. I'm uninter there's just I'm uninterested in that because I know that there's a little bit I know, but there's a lot that I will never know and don't need to know. And there's a surrender in that, right? This is all about surrender. You're just letting go of everything, right? And I can tell you that that was a communication. That
Mm.
was information coming through. Now, I don't know why and I don't know how, and I'm not searching for it, but I know that they are involved right now in attuning me and attuning all of the crystals and all of the crystal stones that I am working with to create. I've got new things in creation that are going to be hopefully complementing some of the stuff that you're bringing through with avatars and with the ascended astrology, you and Aubriana. And the new stuff that's coming in is wanting to be activated. It's almost like they're telling me that they've created an activation portal and they're working with me to to ascend how we work and use crystals. That's about as far as I've gotten.
I think that is amazing. I think it's so spot on, and it is time, right? It's time to ascend everything.
It's
And
time.
it makes sense that this, with your passion and your love for crystals, that they, that in this, they chose you to have this happen, right? It's like, that's what I'm seeing.
I
It's like,
mean,
she's the one.
it's it's super fun, but I will tell you that there when I look at the crystals that are wanting to be a part of whatever's happening at this moment, they do have those inclusions and those prism rainbows, which was not by that wasn't my design, and I find that really interesting. Really, really, really interesting. So probably just a side note for the crystal lovers out there, but there's something to this. And I mean, I think, Jules, if we look at, for those of us that have been on the journey with you, um, we're ascending all aspects. There's a lot of programs. I mean, even in astrology, even in and that was I don't know why I just said that for a reason, because I remember in one of the channels that I did with the crystals, they said that we were what was it, like breaking birthing patterns or something like that. There was something really, I didn't understand what it meant, but I think I'm starting to understand it through some of the ascended astrology that we're doing. But I will tell you this, the message that I'm receiving loud and clear is that we are awakened and now we're becoming. I mean, now we're, you know, and the work essentially has been done. Like we're so close. It's just there's just a last little bit of surrender and release that they're really wanting to. I mean, it's really quite lovely and sweet and supportive and loving.
I love that. You know what I was seeing, and I won't go too much into this, but that it really is, and it's all interconnected. So there's like the 12 DNA, the 12 months, the 12 signs, the 12 stones of each birth month. It's like all of this is, but they all are attaching a program, and we're doing is we're ascending it into the field. And then whatever our process of attuning to what it really is the magic and the fun. And that's what I see you in right now, is
It's
like,
getting magic. It's really getting fun. It's really getting fun. And I feel like they have helped me embark on a fun journey. I mean, I am on a treasure hunt here for um, what this can do and what the possibilities are. So that's really fun. I will tell you, when you mentioned 12, when it started coming, when the sort of communication began to happen, I said, I got this real big hit that my crystal crew was really integral in what was going on. And I remember counting them and I went, oh, there's 12. Of course, they've been on my desk for like 10 years, right? And I thought that was so cool. 12 DMT codes, 12, I was all like, ooh, the 12, it means something. And when they told me to remove 4, I was like, what are you doing and it was that act of surrendering the program that any of that means anything.
oh my gosh, for sure.
Okay.
Well, I do, I am tapping in that the journey has just begun, is what I'm hearing, right? And it's just staying open. And I know, and you're so brilliant at doing that. I mean, you really, really are. Like, you're living this work, Angie. I mean, you are, like, you are a living, breathing example of what it is to live in the field. And it's just so beautiful to watch. Where I want to go now is to have you do an attuning process for us so that we can experience the transmission of what you're talking about.
Okay. Let's I feel like the overarching message that just or act of remembrance for us all is that we are powerful creator beings. We are creators in creation of anything we want. And so let's go back to this.
I'm going to pin you so that everybody can see what you have. There
And
we
I
go.
would say, if you have a crystal nearby, just grab one, or I'm gonna have my Praisial light. Okay, so you can tap into mine or you can tap into yours. And are we ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say let's just start. Let's close our eyes. Let's put our hands on heart. And let's just start breathing and let's breathe in that white blue light and let's have it come in and around the brain. And let's bring that white blue light down the spine and let's bring it up through the heart. And just let your breath cycle that light through. And then let's reverse the direction of that. Let's breathe in the light through the heart, up the spine, and around the brain. If you are familiar with DMT code 3, you don't have to open your eyes. You can just see the symbol, or I'm holding it up for you now if you want to see it. Soft gaze. And let this symbol just float into your pineal, into the middle of the brain. Just let it start to spin. And like a bioluminescent bay, spiraling water, let that light up, that white blue light. And just let it go right into your cells, into your DNA. And then let's attune to our crystal. Whatever crystal you have, the crystal that I'm holding up, we're not meeting this in the way that we're used to. We are the crystal, and we are open right now to receive the information that wants to come through. And you can just ask it. What information does the crystal have for you today? Or what frequency does it feel like? What frequency do you sense? Use your intuitive powers to just tap in to the frequency. And does it feel different than a few moments ago? And just try to keep the intellect out of it and just try to experience the frequency. When you're ready, you can just open your eyes.
Chills. So it's very clean and pure. And what I love about this is that this is what we are. And if we approach anything in life as a reflection of the field to begin with, and then we actually see, oh, that's actually me.
Mm.
Everything is the tool. Because what we're tapping into is our innate being. It's just so powerful. I'm so excited to see
I'm
where.
so excited too. And we are the light. There's so much, I will tell you, there's a lot coming through around light and water. I would just say stay tuned because it's coming through. It's strong, it's exciting, and it has to do with the light
I love
inside.
chills.
Yeah.
Chills. Oh my gosh, Angie, what a powerful reflection in this conversation. Thank you for just
Thank
being
you.
your open heart and just really, I mean, that was just amazing. And I want to honor you for just showing
Mhm.
up in this way. And I,
Thank you so much. I just honor everyone on this journey and reach out, stay a little uncomfortable,
yeah.
practice, practice, practice. That's the magic. And
Yeah.
the practice is just living your life in awareness. And everything is an opportunity to see what's beyond. That's the practice. It's just, oh, this, I'm walking through life and this just came up and there's an opportunity. Do you want it or, what do you want to do with it? And
Yeah.
that's practice, really.
I love it. Oh, but so let's just give everybody your website. So if they are,
Mm.
you were holding up that bracelet and I could hear
Yeah, I,
people
I was
going
I was wearing the lotus blossom today. Um, crystalcrafthouse.com. Crystalcrafthouse.com. And yeah, just reach out. You can email me through the website if something spoke to you or you want to connect, or you're just interested in, you know, getting yourself a pretty little crystal tool or sharing them with others. So,
so beautiful.
um,
Well, definitely go and check out her store because she has some amazing, beautiful things there. And they're all like little tuning forks.
they are, and there's new stuff coming soon. So I'm excited to
We
share that
can't
with
wait.
everyone.
We can't wait. All right. Well, thank you so much, beautiful. And thanks everyone for listening and being a part of this beautiful reflection and conversation. And until we meet again, we are sending you so much love and a great big hug. And yeah, really go tap into that magic because it's there for you to experience and focus on.
And if you unlock some great stuff, share it with us. We want to know.
Definitely, definitely. All right. We'll see you all next time.